So Billie Eilish has finally released her debut album, When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? So here I am today to talk about my thoughts on this new album from Billie. Billie Eilish is an artist who I've always seen as a soon-to-be star. I've always found her singles to be pretty enjoyable, and in this day and age, like Billie, you can become famous or popular off a release of singles as long as they're good, of course, like Billie has done. But as of right now, I think you can't really solidify yourself in the music scene without releasing something of an album, a mixtape. So I thought if Billie came out with a strong album that stays true to everything she's done before, then she definitely can carve herself out a little spot for her in the music scene. And right now, she's one of the biggest artists around, and maybe she could stay that way, at least for the next few years. And here we are discussing her full-length debut album. And I honestly think that maybe this is the most important album for an artist that will come out this year as of the albums that have been announced so far. That is, of course, under the assumption that Maynard is once again trolling and there will not actually be a new Tool album. So pretty much working under the expectation that Maynard James Keenan is caught up working on his vineyard, then I think this release for Billie is going to be the most important of the year for an artist. This is definitely a turning point. It's a seminal point in her career. This is where it can really start, or this is where it can fall flat and end. Don't worry, Billie. No pressure at all. So this truly is a pivotal record for the next few years of pop music. Let me get, jeez. I look like a psychopath. Billie has the look, she has the attitude, and of course she has the talent. But did she pull through on this debut album? And to my analysis with this new project, this new giant leap into the music industry, but Billie throughout this album delivers the goods on everything she has previously shown prospect in. She mixes this concoction of trap percussion, hard-hitting bass lines, of course, her quirky, sinister, and mysterious vocal inflections, and of course, her pop sensible hooks, which grab onto you from start to finish in a very, very good way. Every element of this album to me feels interesting. This album also has a very dark tone in its vocal delivery and lyrics. Heck, look at the track Bury a Friend. She's exploring her beautiful, dark, twisted fantasies about killing her friend, seemingly for kicks.
Really creative here, very much on the ball.
Also on the track Xanny, as you might expect from the title, Billie explores drugs and alcohol. You know what, let me actually just read some of the lines from here. What is it about them? I must be missing something. They just keep doing nothing. Too intoxicated to be scared. Better off without them. They're nothing but unstable. Bring ashtrays to the table. And that's about the only thing they share. I'm in their secondhand smoke. Still just drinking canned Coke. I don't need a Xanny to feel better. Our designated drives home. Only one who's not stoned. Don't give me a Xanny now or ever. And while she is taking on what others might consider dark and depressing themes, some might even say taboo, she manages to do it in an almost, dare I say, lighthearted manner. When you see Billie and when you see titles like Bury a Friend, going into it, you almost expect the stereotypical teen angsthem. That's what I call an angsty anthem. Clever, I know. But I wouldn't say that's necessarily what you get. But I mean, she does tell you in the track you might want to keep your dad's masculine impulses in check around her. So if you get the line that I'm referencing, then you might be able to see why I say she's almost lighthearted. I mean, just look at the cover. It's pretty apparent just looking at the goofy effects that she isn't taking herself all that seriously. Not only can I tell this because I'm a genius and I'm never wrong, but I mean just seeing her on shows like Hot Ones and even on the opening intro track to this album, that's what I interpret it as. You can see she's kind of a goofy, fun person. Ooh, here's another track whose lyrics I find pretty interesting. I wish you were gay. She basically in this track talks about how she wants a guy who doesn't want her back and pretty much rejects her. And she's pretty much singing about how she wants him to have a real excuse for him not liking her, but you can clearly see with the way the lyrics paint a picture. It's just he doesn't like her. And Billy's having a hard time getting over that, so she just kind of wishes he was gay, because that's a better excuse than anything, I guess. I find this premise not only amusing, but extremely well executed. I mean, let's be honest here, it's 2019, and throwing around the term gay, referring to somebody as gay, calling them gay, if you do it in the wrong way, where it comes across as bad, even if you do have good intentions or not, it's a career suicide. And like I said, this is the pivotal moment in Billy's career, and she really doesn't want to mess it up, I assume. Making a bad and tasteless move with a lyrical subject right here could, like, just bomb her career. It wouldn't be good for her future of her career, I'll just say that. But obviously she does it in a very lighthearted manner. I'm going to use that term a lot for this album. It's very lighthearted. But, yeah, she's very playful with it. I really enjoy the track. One of my favorites on this album. Maybe my favorite. I don't know. But, yeah, very good track. A thing I might need to add to this review, post-production, is the track Listen Before I Go. It's a very, very sad track. One of the saddest in the album, maybe the saddest, I don't know. It's debatable, but it talks about Billy, or a character, who is wanting to commit suicide, and it could be one of two things. It's kind of left up to interpretation to the listener, or to the audience, I guess you could say, but the first one is she's having some strenuous times in a romantic relationship, so she wants to kill herself because of that. Or two is she's having some strenuous times in the spotlight, being a star musician, probably, is what she's referring to. And she feels like if she kills herself, the person in the relationship or the fans will move on pretty fast, find someone new, cope with somebody new, or plain on just forget about her and or this character. In case of the romantic relationship, the guy will find someone new, and in case of the fans of this musical artist, or Billy, they will find someone new, some new star to latch onto, to obsess over, to just love their music. And even though Billy sort of seems to feel bad about it, she ends up committing the act. I assume, because there were sirens at the end of the track, which is a very nice touch. It really gets across the point what was going on the track, and still leaves it up to a bit of interpretation to the listener to see what is really going on, to figure it out. Which one is it? And these are the two I think are most likely. But anyway, really sad cut. Really enjoy it. One of my favorite sad tracks on the album. So basically one of my favorite tracks on the album. I also see this track as a bit of a starting place for discussion, whether it be talking about suicide in general, suicide of artists, how artists are remembered, people in relationships and how that relates to suicide, people feeling like they're just going to be forgotten after they die or after they kill themselves, almost like making them want to kill themselves. And the same goes for the stardom. So it's a really interesting starting point for a discussion that I don't think I've seen too many people talk about in music. I mean, there was that 121 Pilots song, but I don't know if that's as closely related to this subject as Billy's song here was. But anyway, back to what I filmed before. But overall, lyrically on this album, we see a few different sides to Billy's songwriting, all of which I think really work for her persona. We see the kind of dark subject matter on Xanny and Bury a Friend, the twisted lovey-dovey stuff on I Love You and Strange Addiction, and of course throughout the album, more sprinkles of her humor and just her teeny feelings in general. She is 17, so like 10 years older than me. So, you know, yeah. Wait, what point was I trying to make? Anyway, she's young, and I've talked predominantly about the lyrics on this album so far, so I have to switch over to just give credit to the musicality of this album. I mean, I know lately I've been saying this a lot, been giving this praise to a few different albums in a very high regard, and I think even now I'm going to say it with even more confidence. Tracks like I Wish You Were Gay, Bury a Friend, My Strange Addiction, When the Party's Over, Xanny, A Bad Guy, All the Good Girls Go to Hell, and of course, I Love You. These are all incredibly written tracks. They do have those hooks, like I've said before, they are very hooky songs, which is very good for Billie because 16-year-old white girls all over the country are going to have these melodies stuck in their head. And hey, this 14-year-old white boy is definitely going to have them stuck in there too, so no judgment. Lol, more like stuck up your... But if I'm being honest, these are just genuinely some of the best written songs that I've heard in my short time reviewing music. I might regret saying that later. One of my favorite things on this album is the goofy synth lines that are used very playfully throughout the tracks. All the Good Girls Go to Hell and Bad Guy just have these very fitting and, again, hooky synth lines that just come in, and the song doesn't necessarily need it, but the song benefits so much from just having these great, excellent cuts to add to the song's flavor. Like, I just really like it. I think it might be a sample because I think it may be on Bad Guy. I recognize that one. Maybe it's just, you know, sometimes a good melody, sometimes a very well written riff or hook, or, you know, whatever you call it, something that sticks in your head, something well written musically. It might sound familiar, so you might think, I heard this somewhere else, but it's really just taps into your brain like most other songs can't. And of course, whatever the case is with that, I still think it's a very well done addition to the songs. Adds a lot of spice. They really help sprinkle that parmesan. Put him down. Another thing that I really admire Billie for doing in this album is making the songs short and to the point. I think the longest cut on here is, like, let me look at my notes, 4 minutes and 52 seconds. That is the instrumental section length to a lot of the prog I review. So most of these songs are 2-3 minute long songs that are just, they're short, they're punchy, they're catchy, they don't drag on too long, they don't drone on, they don't overstay their welcome. This really does make the record more cohesive, more easy to stomach, and more memorable overall, and just enhances the experience to a whole nother level than it maybe could have been. So on this album, Billie has shown that she can be emotional, yet powerful, and that she can, you know, express all these emotions and write these wonderful and beautiful cuts, even though they're kind of disguised in a shroud of mystery, darkness, like a sinister vibe to it, even though it is playful. Like, she just pulls through with just great tracks, man, and, you know, great tracks, great album. Everything about this album is to the point and excellent lyrically, musically, sonically, just in the production. By the way, great production. And Billie, to me, is climbing up the list of some of my favorite faces in music right now, like up there with Dave Grohl, up there with Kendrick, because she's very charismatic. I really like her, and I really hope to see her do even better in the future. About to give this album a very, very good score. But yeah, I mean, I think she might be able to do better in the future. I don't know how. Maybe she can change up something. I don't know. It's great here. I'm not saying it's not, but like, I think she can do better in the future. You guys know what I'm saying. You guys are at least intelligent. I mean, you watch me. Obviously, you have to be. What a pretentious asshole. 9 out of 10. Well, thanks for watching this review. Subscribe for more music reviews. I've been pumping them out pretty fast lately because I've been trying to catch up, and more reviews will just always keep coming. So subscribe for that across all genres. Follow my socials. Check me out on Twitch for me just hanging out, doing games, doing whatever, talking. Be seeing you guys next time. Peace. Yeah.